Well, I did want him to feel a little bit like a throwback, and I like the kind of Star is Born relationship that he has to her. It's like it's more, it's not sexualized or anything like that. Someone who really sees a talent and wants to develop it, um, and then I do a fair amount of just daydreaming about these people, and I somehow I came to this idea about of any music person would be Wayne Coyne from the Flaming Lips.
So funny that you just said that. The second I saw you, you just exuded this guy. I was like, that's Wayne Coyne, and you looked like him, and your hair looked like him, and you felt like him. Wow, I'm so happy you said that. Okay.
I really love him. I think he's really gifted and feels like the real deal as far as music goes. And I hope he doesn't take offense to my homage to him. But I'm a big fan of his, and so that was probably the only music person. And then there's like a little weird Dylan pointy boot, Beatle boot thing, tight jean. The glasses are obviously that, but that was pretty much it.
It's like you get one thing as an actor, is that right? I don't know, but you get sort of one, not so much a prop, but even a piece of clothes, anything that gives you the guy or the girl, and it's like, I felt the glasses were that with you, Mark.
That and the Smokes. There's
Yeah.
I knew an old Jewish songwriter who was a manager, but he's a dear friend of mine. He passed away a few years ago, but he was in his 70s, and so he was in the music scene, and so a lot of that character's qualities, especially the Nat Sherman cigarettes, were his, and but that gruff quality and that kind of. That was a throwback quality that I got. His name was Leonard Bleacher, and he was a really interesting character.
Yes, you. Oh, there's a mic right there. Yes, you in the black.
You mentioned clothes. Is there an equivalent for Keira? Is there an equivalent to Anna Karenina's veils and Sabina Spielrein's high neckline that you found in Greta? And second part of that, if either of them were to give advice to Greta, should she take it?
Sabina Spielrein? No, I mean I wouldn't. Or Anna Karenina. The clothes. We actually had big discussions with Arjun, the costume designer, about. I wanted her to dress for women, and not for men. And I wanted the clothes to be something that women would like and get, and men wouldn't necessarily. So we worked quite hard on that kind of idea. So that kind of slightly tomboy, slightly kind of Annie Hall, absolutely not sexualized kind of thing, which we were going for. So the kind of slightly man's trouser thing was a big one.
Yes, you in the yellow next.
It's mustard. It's a mustard. It's a mustard.
I apologize. You in the mustard.
It is mustard. Thank you. Anyway.
Speaking of clothes.
No one wants that. You wear a mustard shirt.
Right?
No one wants it
Definitely
called
mustard.
yellow. I hear you, and it's a triumph.
The film is an attack on selling out in the music industry, but all of you have to confront that daily, whether you're in the film industry or music industry. Like, you take small films, but after a few small films, if you want people to come to view them, you have to make a big film. So do each of you say, well, I have to sell out a little today?
I love this question.
It's a really good question, isn't it?
I'll take.
Right. Okay.
I want to
I'm actually. I like the differences, and I think that's what's being really nice about being an actor. I don't dislike big blockbusters. In fact, I like them very much. In fact, sometimes that's exactly what's called for on a day when it's raining and I want to sit and I want to have popcorn and I want to just kind of get lost in it. So I sort of think about that as far as making them as well. I like the differences. You know, I did Jack Ryan because I wanted a pure piece of popcorn. And I mean, and it just exactly fit. I'd come from Anna Karenina, where it was this incredibly stylized, sort of trying something in a very new way, very, very dark. And what I really wanted after that was something absolutely different. And the same thing with this film. You know, I wanted it to be really low budget and really kind of hit the ground running and keep going and work as fast as possible and, you know, all that. I wanted that kind of speed. So I think I feel incredibly privileged that I get the opportunity to do both. I certainly don't sneer at big budget things and I don't sneer at small budget things. I think it's about the opportunity to do all different styles for me.
Yeah, most things
Dodge
aren't
that
very, most
question.
things aren't very good. Most things aren't very good, but that's nothing to do with scale or size or any of those things. Most things aren't that great, and that's no fault of anybody. No one's trying to set, and no one sets out to make something bad. Sometimes they just are, and the trick is to operate in that 10%, whether it be of something of a huge budget or small budget, or that, and that goes for music, television, theatre, art, everything. You just want to operate in the 10% that's there, and acknowledge that sometimes you'll miss the mark with that, and sometimes you'll make mistakes. But those are the only things that teach you to go on and try and operate in that, you know, in that place where you can make something that's really good. And I love watching things which people would say is trash, and I love watching things that are different to that. I don't think it's a question of selling out or not selling out. It's just trying at the core of it to make something that's good. And there's no better representative of that than this film, where a group of actors get on board with the director that they love because they've seen something that they loved that meant something to them, and they go, yeah, I'm in for this journey with you, whatever it is and wherever we go, I'm in, and I will absolutely do my best to make sure it sits within that 10%.